there, everybody! You know how sometimes you meet someone new and instantly you get a feeling about them? Like you just things? Maybe they seem nice or maybe a little sneaky. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us. We're all guilty of making these super fast judgments. It's human nature. In psychology, there's a fancy name for this spontaneous trait inference. The concept of spontaneous trait inference was first introduced in the mid-20th century. Researchers discovered that people often make quick judgments about others based on limited information. It's basically how we form impressions of people without even realizing it. It's like our brain's way of quickly sizing up a situation and deciding if someone's cool or not. Think about it. We do this all the time. We meet someone new and boom! Our brain starts making assumptions based on their clothes, their body language, even their taste in music. Sometimes these judgments are spot on, but other times they can lead to misunderstandings and missed connections. So, buckle up because we're about to dive deep into the world of spontaneous trait inference. We'll uncover why we do it, how it affects our relationships, and whether it's always a bad thing. Let's get started. But before we dive in, let's take a moment to acknowledge Hermann von Helmholtz. Although primarily known for his work in physiology and physics, Helmholtz's early research laid the groundwork for understanding how we perceive and interpret sensory information. His insights into the speed of neural transmission and sensory processing were crucial in shaping later theories about how quickly we form impressions of others. So in a way, Helmholtz's pioneering work helped pave the way for the concept of spontaneous trait inference. Okay, let's break it down. Spontaneous trait inference is a big fancy term, but it's actually pretty simple. It just means that we automatically infer traits about people based on their behaviour. We see someone doing something, and our brain instantly tries to figure out what kind of person they are. For instance, imagine you see someone helping an elderly person cross the street. Instantly you think, wow, what a kind and helpful person. That's spontaneous trait inference in action. You observed their behavior and made a judgment about their personality without even thinking twice. Now this process happens incredibly fast, like lightning speed. It's not something we consciously control. It's our brain's way of making sense of the world around us and navigating social situations. Pretty neat, right? But hold on a second. Just because we automatically make these judgments doesn't mean they're always accurate. Sometimes our first impressions can be way off base. That's why it's important to be aware of this process, and to try to stay open-minded when meeting new people. Alright, time for some real-life examples. Picture this. You're at a coffee shop, and you see someone cut in line. What's your first thought? Ugh, how rude. Yep, that's spontaneous trait inference doing its thing. You observed their behavior and instantly labeled them as impolite. Here's another one. You're scrolling through social media, and you see a friend posting pictures from their latest adventure vacation. What do you think? Wow, they're so adventurous and spontaneous. See? Spontaneous trait inference strikes again. But it's not just about negative or positive traits. Spontaneous trait inference can also lead us to make assumptions about people's intelligence, competence, and even their trustworthiness. It's like our brain is constantly trying to categorize people based on limited information. Now, I'm not saying that we should never trust our gut instincts. Sometimes our intuition can be incredibly accurate. But it's crucial to remember that these initial impressions are just that, initial. They're not always the whole story. Why we jump to conclusions, the psychology behind it. So, why do we do this? Why are we hardwired to make snap judgments about people? Well, it all boils down to survival, my friends. Back in the caveman days, our ancestors had to make quick decisions about who to trust and who to avoid. Those who could accurately assess danger were more likely to, well, not get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. Fast forward to today, and our brains are still wired for survival, even if we're not dodging predators on a daily basis. Spontaneous trait inference is like a leftover survival mechanism, helping us navigate the complex social world. It allows us to quickly assess potential threats, allies, and romantic partners. Plus, let's be real, our brains are busy. They're constantly bombarded with information, and they need shortcuts to process everything efficiently. Spontaneous trait inference is like a mental shortcut, allowing us to make sense of people and situations without overthinking everything. But here's the thing, while this cognitive shortcut can be helpful in some situations, it can also lead to biases and stereotypes. Our past experiences, cultural upbringing, and even our current mood can influence how we perceive others. Social butterfly effects, how snap judgments shape our interactions. Hold on tight because here's where things get really interesting. Spontaneous trait inference doesn't just affect how we think about people, it also shapes our behaviour towards them. Yep, those snap judgments can influence how we interact with others, both consciously and unconsciously. Let's say you meet someone new, and your brain instantly labels them as shy. You might be less likely to approach them or to include them in conversations. On the flip side, if you perceive someone as confident and outgoing, you might be more drawn to them and more likely to initiate interactions. See how this works? Our initial impressions can create self-fulfilling prophecies, influencing how others respond to us and ultimately shaping our social realities. It's like a domino effect, with those snap judgments setting a chain of interactions in motion. Now, this isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes our positive first impressions can lead to genuine connections and friendships. But it's crucial to be mindful of the potential downsides. Our biases can prevent us from getting to know amazing people and can perpetuate harmful stereotypes. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this.